Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Many Star Wars Destiny players ask the question, what's the best character from Transformations? It's Han. It's Han. Arguably, it could be Fives too, but it's probably Han. Hello everyone, welcome to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast. I'm Andrew, with you here as always, just having a little bit of fun. Shout out to the professor, for those of you who are in the know. So yeah, a lot of really super strong cards come out of Transformations, a lot of back and forth on whether that set's too powerful and what's going on there. But one thing that we can be certain of, fan favorite Luke is making waves. People are really happy with him. I'm really happy with him. So what I'm talking about today are 3 different builds using our fan favorite Luke. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me for episode 107 of the Commando Cast, dedicated towards our best buddy in the whole wide world, Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight Luke. He wasn't the hero we deserved. He was the hero we really deserved. He was the blue hero that we really needed for the entire duration of this entire game. So, alright, showing him right now, our big buddy, Luke. I mean, screw his die, right? The die we've had forever. Literally, we've had it for the entire duration of this game, but it's the character that makes him, right? Parallel die is not even really that great, right? The 2 and the 3, only, 66 or 33% damage sides. Not horrible damage sides. That one focus is the real problem on his die of everything. But his power action, oh my god, his power action. Either give this character 2 shields, or remove 2 shields from him to deal 2 damage to a character. If he has 3 or more upgrades, you can do it in either order. Not as hard, because do note, as opposed to his younger version, which I am showing now, right, they do not need to be dice upgrades, right? For Luke, for BD Luke, right, as he's affectionately called, they can be any blue upgrades, right? So your Quad Breathers are hot. You could do Knighthood, I suppose. You don't really need to. Quad Breathers, your Neiman trainings. I like Neiman training a lot with him. So anyway, the real big takeaway of this, of course, isn't even the combo thing. It's really just the fact that from day 1, turn 1, from the get-go, this guy gives himself 2 health every turn, right? And if you're in a pinch, you can throw some damage across the table. That doesn't suck, right? So this guy's real strong. That 15 health is really relevant, not just because 15 health is good, but the 15 number is really relevant for a couple of cards out there, right? So yeah, let's get into this. So what I have today, I have 3 builds. I have a blue build, I have a red build, and I have a yellow build. Actually, it's not in that order. It's blue, yellow, then red. Let's go ahead and get right into this. So blue build is right out of the gate. It's EBD Luke, single die not single die Obi-Wan, because he's diceless, right? But non-elite Obi-Wan, and then United We Stand, right? So just for those of you who aren't in the know, kind of the way the nomenclature is developed on that plot is you call it United if it's not elite. You call it United We Stand if it is elite. In this case, Obi's 9 on top of Luke's 20 adds up to 29, which allows you to take United We Stand, the plot elite. Okay, so the thing with it being mono blue is there's not a bunch of super sexy cards because it's all mono, right? There's not a lot of, usually when you're looking at the sexy cards, quote unquote, that's what you're looking at is what the splash brings, right? Especially because we're in a big little pairing effectively here, right? So what you're usually looking at is what the little brings. So that's kind of though what I'm showing right here, right? So we have a friend lost, we have heroic stand, both of which are kind of hot for what we're trying to do here, right? Because remember Obi-Wan, his whole point is to take the damage, to feed himself, become a die, right? Become not only a better die, but a real die in this case that you can use. That's a real good die with a heck of a power action on that card. And your whole point is to defeat a character, so let's take advantage of some of the cards that can take advantage of that, right? So Friend Lost, right? You can, for one, flip some of your dice. Heroic Stand is a little on the fringes, I suppose, being 2 resources, but I think 2 resources is the going rate these days for resetting a character. I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibilities that you can find a situation in which you can reset Luke, right, in game. And he's probably got 4 or 5 health left at that point because he's been giving himself shields. Maybe he can even make it through the round. So I really like this. So flashing up right now, just my sample deck list for this. So for upgrades, I have 2 Aquata Breathers, right? That's not only for the ever-prevalent Aphra matchup in the meta, but also 0-cost upgrades to help him kind of sing. I do have Annie's Lightsaber. I know that we don't need redeploys here, right? The whole point is to cash out Obi-Wan relatively early, so redeploys are kind of irrelevant here. But it's just a good weapon. It has 50% damage sides. Luke does not, so a lot of the times you're kind of struggling for base side. So I know that Annie's has a modifier on it, but I like that in here. 2 Jedi lightsabers. Not that you always need shields, but dropping a 2 for 2 shields and then overriding it for something better is, that's a blue hero staple in our current meta, so I don't know why we wouldn't put it in there. 2 Neiman Masteries. I do have 2 Neiman Trainings in here. Don't be afraid to chuck those Neiman Masteries early and put them in the drink because Neiman Training can pull them back out. Again, they're 1-cost upgrades that help get you to his power action. Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. That is really hot with Luke, right? It works really well with him because you just exhaust. Even if he's doing it to himself, you exhaust it and you get a shield back. And then I have 2 Yoda's lightsabers in here. You guys know I love this card. It's a 1-drop. It's great for overwrite. It also brings a die to the table. It also has a resource on there, right? Plenty of times it can pay for itself. So it's great there. Sports, Dex's Diner. Definitely packing one of those with a 15-point character here. He's going to have the damage minimum. It's the 6 or more, right? You get more out of it. It's a really good card. Just one of them if they DM it, fine, right? I only have 1 Hone Skills. That's because that's really all I have room for. You could very easily make the argument that you could put another Hone Skills in here. You'd have to cash out something else. But we're only playing 1 Bacta as well. Bacta's just kind of your Hail Mary. I know I'm skipping ahead, but I think the 1 Hone Skills is probably right. Just because I've played too many games using Hone Skills over the years with all the various builds I've made where you don't want too many of them early. So I think Hone Skills, just the 1-of's probably fine. We do only have 1 Friend Lost. I'm only playing 1 Ataru Strike. Again, most of the time I think because he's slow, he's not super aggressive, I think you're using your shields defensively more often. So just the 1 Ataru Strike, kind of a surprise kill type thing. I don't think it would be something you wanted to, right? This is not the same as a Yoda build where the plan is to take shields and hit. You're just planning on hitting over time and tanking up. So I think the 1 Ataru Strike is the right call. The 1 Bacta, like I talked about, you could very easily do a Bandolier type build. Well, that would be yellow. But my point is you could go for a build where you're trying to stack a bunch of stuff on him and heal. That's perfectly legitimate play. I just think that it's a little too tricky with what you're trying to do with, you're not making a ton of money. Remember, we're only starting with 2 dice here. So your money curve is pretty low. And there's, a lot of other ways to spend money in this deck. So I think 1 Bacta is the right call. Anyway, that's what I said to go with. 2 Disciplined Mind. I think that one's a no-brainer. You're always going to have him on because if he goes down, you're done anyway, right? 2 Fluid Riposte. 1 Heroic Stand. I think, obviously, that one's kind of the fringe tech, so I think definitely one of those is right. 2 Motives. 1 Jedi Mind Trick. Again, if Luke goes down, it doesn't matter, so you may as well play it. Over Beguile is what I mean. 2 Nullify, and then 2 Steadfast. So that's the list here. We're obviously playing on the hut just for more shield love. I like this a lot because remember, if you're playing Mill, right, one of the takeaways here might be, well, there's a little too much gain shield love. If you're playing Mill, what do you do? Fair enough, it is hard enough to hit the die here, but at least you can start throwing 2 shields across the table every round, right? I mean, it's 2 damage across the table. So anyway, that is the mono blue build with Obi-Wan. So that is EBD Luke, Obi-Wan, and United We Stand. All right, next pairing that we've seen a lot of, and this, I'll be honest, of the 3, this is my preferred pairing. So this is EBD Luke, Satine. It comes out to an even 30, so no plot here because remember they're different colors, so we can't run United. And the trick here, really, not the trick, it's pretty straightforward. Darksaber, right? It lets you bring Darksaber. Luke's 20 points, it turns on Darksaber. The 2 becomes a 4, the 3 becomes a 5, 2 focus becomes 4 focus. All of a sudden Luke's bad rolling doesn't really seem to matter anymore, right? This card's really crazy. It's really, really good in this build, and bringing yellow is the only way to get it. So, all right, and then I mean, obviously we're being the yellow control package, pickings and entangle, because Satine, she's there to make money. That's what her job is, right? And basically bring yellow to the table. And then I did throw Do or Do Not. I know that this is a blue card and could have technically been in the last set, except it doesn't really work in the last pairing, right? Do or Do Not works really well actually on Satine's dice, because reroll it, and I mean, aside from her blank, of course, you reroll it, you get 3 indirect, 2 focus, you get a bunch of money out of it. Do or Do Not works really, really well with Satine, and it really helps set you up for what you need with Luke. Okay, so going into just my sample deck list for this, I have, again, 1 Annie Saber. So redeploy is not irrelevant here, because if they decide to blast on Luke, I think most of the time people are going to go for Satine, because I think that's the right target here. But if they don't, you have the redeploy capability. So we have 1 Annie Saber, we have 1 Dagger Mortis, we have 2 Jedi Lightsaber, we have 2 Neiman Mastery, we have 2 Treasures, and we have 2 Yodas. Again, we have 1 Dexes and 1 Hone Skills. Again, I'm playing 1 Ataru Strike. I think my explanation before still holds here. 2 Pickings, 2 Entangle, there's your control package, a Fluid Riposte. Do note that Disciplined Mind is here as well, of course, because it's a staple. 2 Motives, of course. I only have 1 Instigate. And I'll admit that if you draw it early, it basically becomes wasted. But you don't want to play, I mean, you don't want to, but I think bringing yellow to the table, like having the rollout hit is good. But the reason there's only 1 is because Luke's not super reliable, right? If he were a Mace or something, it'd be a different story. But that 2 to 3 side makes a big difference from the surprise aspect. I think Luke, you just got to play as a tank, right? I think that's the strategy. We have 2 Lothcats, remove, I mean, it's just for removal, kind of punishes you, right? But and then 2 Nullifies, which is no brainer, and then 2 Steadfast. So I think this is the build that I've focused in on. I think this is probably the best build. However, I mean, there are certainly arguments to be made for both. I know, I think the blue's probably on the lower of the 3, and then this next one probably falls right in the middle. But there are certainly advantages to this next deck, which is EBD Luke, Gungan built to last. And I know it sounds crazy. It's not super high health. I mean, 21's actually not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I'd much rather be at like 28, don't get me wrong. But the ramp capability of this is not to be underestimated. And not the ramp necessarily in, well, I shouldn't say ramp. I should say the money efficiency of this, right? Because what this allows you to do, right? You're not playing this for the redeploy, obviously, right? But the idea is you can drop a 2-drop and then get the money back, right? So it's not so much that I'm dropping a 2-drop and then I'm going to play a 3. It's more so that I'm going to drop a 2 and have the money for control. That's really more what this deck's trying to bring. Money or control or healing or whatever it may be, right? So let's go ahead and get into the cards here, right? The big one that does help you a little with your ramp, although it's a little respite-y, right? In that it, you have to draw it early, right? But imposing figure. Now, let me correct what I just said, right? My point is it really only helps you early. The card works the whole time because it doesn't use the amount of health that Luke has remaining. It loses his health, his printed health, right? So he's always 15 regardless of how much damage he has on him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it helps you more early than it does later. Next is Feat of Strength. That baby works with Luke out of the gate. That's a 2-die removal out of the gate. That's real, real strong. Next, we have Garbage Chute. Nobody cares about the Gungan. Throw that sucker in the Garbage Chute for 2 die removal. That's really hot. And then Field Medic. Field Medic's a key card, right? Healing the damage off of Luke. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's posthumous removal, but it does a lot of, I mean, Field Medic's done a lot of good over the years. So, shout out to Davey DTD. This is actually his list. I made a call out on the DC Team channel and said, hey, let me see some red builds. Save me some time. So this is his list straight up, and I think it's a really, really solid list. I really like this one. So he's on the Outpost, which is implying that he's going fast, right? Which I think is pretty solid here because I don't know that you're even rolling out the Gungan most of the time. So he's got 1 Anakin Saber for the... I mean, again, we're seeing this in every build just because it comes down, it has shields. No one cares about the redeploy in this case. It's just the good of the card. And again, remember, Luke only has those 2 melee sides, so you need base side. And that's why both Annie's and Dagger are in here, right? They're both great calls. He's running an Ezra's, which is an interesting choice because it has redeploy as well, and it doesn't really provide as many base sides. It is 50% damage, so it's not too shabby. And hey, if it ends up on the Gungan at the end for a kill, that'd be amazing. I am wondering if there's not perhaps a better card we could put in that slot, but again, I really like that card. He's playing Luke's Lightning Rod, which makes perfect sense. Again, you're not winning this game with the Gungan, right? So just stick it on him. 2 Nemans. He has an Obi Saber, which makes a lot of sense, actually, with the extra shields that you're getting. Right? You throw a special out there, they don't control it. You go ahead and power action, you force the issue, and if they don't, they take a lot of damage. And then he has Qui-Gons, and he just has 1 Yoda's, right? We're both aligned on the love for Yoda's. He's also only playing 1 Hone Skills. I think that's also solid in this because you're not making a ton of money in this, so this is really your... I mean, it's really your, in-game Hail Mary, whatever it is. I do think that I'd probably, in this build, I would probably sack one of the upgrades for Dex's Diner. I think would be my recommendation to him. But I know he's done very well with this deck as well. He then has, so like I said, 1 Hone Skills. He has a Dark Reflections, which is kind of a hot call for a lot of flipping. Again, Luke does not roll great, right? In and of himself, his dice don't roll great. So having ways to flip there are good. Jeff3316 was replying back and saying, wait, so I pay 2 for a pickings, which is a fair argument, but obviously you can do your best to play around it. 2 Disciplined Mind, 2 Feet of Strength, 2 Field Medic, 2 Motive, 2 Imposing Figures, 2 Nullify, 2 Pacify, 2 Respite. Again, why you don't care about the Gungan, right? Let's ramp, right? So we have 4 ramp cards in here. You have Imposing Figure, you have Respite, and then he closes with Steadfast, right? So this build also, like I said, I personally prefer the yellow build, but this build has a lot of advantages going for it. It's a little more aggressive, but it's also a little more tanky, if that makes sense, right? Depending on how it goes, right? My point being that you're either using the Gungan to make money, or you're using the Gungan to kind of jump in front of bullets. So it depends on really how your draws are, on how you play it. So I don't think you're playing this deck necessarily the same every time you play it. So again, thank you, Davey, for your shout out, and that's why I wore my Bulldog shirt today, buddy. Go Louisiana. So. All right, so those are our 3 builds. What are you playing? What, are you guys loving Luke? I know we're loving Luke. Kind of the shout out to harkens back to old days Destiny a little bit. Brings back some of the nostalgia. It's good times. I know we're enjoying it, and he feels like real Destiny again, right? I think that's partially the reason why he's become quite the fan favorite, at least amongst the DC team guys. So let me know what you guys are playing, what you guys are thinking. Remember, if you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. We always love that. Leave your comments below. If nothing else, go Commando.